A very good morning to all. A warm welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of our Power Hour session Pathways and Possibilities. I, Momita,
And I, Rosmajos.
are the host for the day, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all to this Power Pack session. Today's session is themed Pathways and Possibilities, a reminder that every student stands at a crossroad of choices that can shape their future. It is said, surround yourself with people who motivate you and inspire you. We have among us two such wonderful people, Mr. Anand Acharya, Chief Mentor and Partner at Career Launcher Bangalore, and Dr. Ginu George, Associate Professor, Westford University, Sharjah. Our first guest is Mr. Anand Acharya, alumnus of BMS College of Engineering and postgraduate from Accelerate Jamshedpur. He is also the director and co-founder at the university. Anand has worked under the leadership role across IT, ITES, media and entertainment, fashion, medtech, fintech, and edtech industries. He currently mentors and guides students preparing for national and international level competitive examination like SAT, CLAT, IPMAT, etc. He spends his time in providing sales and business consultancy to certain top names like the Hero Group, An Academy, the Times Group, etc. A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Our next guest, Dr. Ginu George, alumnus of Mount Carmel College, Bangalore, and postgraduate MPhil and PhD from Christ University, Bangalore, is an accomplished academic and industry professional. She holds a PhD in human resource and has over 15 years of teaching experience across various academic institutions. During her career, she has developed and updated course materials, syllabi, and teaching aids to create an engaging and up to date learning experience for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. In addition to her academic contributions, she has also gained practical industry experience as an HR professional in information technology and service sector. She has worked as an HR consultant and as an HR generalist for over 3 years, strengthening her expertise in people management and organizational processes. A warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And very good morning to everyone.
To set the stage, our first question to Mr. Anand. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Switching from corporate field to education was a major decision that many are curious about. Sir, was there a specific moment or an experience that inspired you to switch from a corporate job to the field of education?
Quite a good question to be asked. And in reality, it's very difficult to figure out the exact reason why you made that shift because change is inevitable. And when you look at changes happening around your environment, you tend to ensure that your skills and your uh, steps are aligned with the requirements. So I was earlier with the IT companies and other companies, and when it came to education, I realized that there are multiple reasons why people get into education, and one of the main reason for me was the the part that when you look at national competitive examinations, there are a lot of students who prepare for these exams, but not many students really know how to crack them, and that was the problem that I really wanted to solve where I could give a guidance to all the students on how to clear these national aptitude tests, which has a very, very similar syllabus to what students study in school, but has a completely different approach of cracking them. And that's one reason why this shift happened. The other multiple reasons that added to it or complemented it because I love maths, and not that I love to teach math, but I love to make people remove the fear in math. And that's one of the main component which, influenced me to be part of this system. Right.
Thank you, sir. Our young audience would be encouraged to learn that career choices are not to be set in stone. Your own story will inspire them to explore.
Okay, our first question goes to Jinu ma'am. Ma'am, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Ma'am, you have contributed significantly through your research publication. Your recent research paper was on AI on creating inclusive work environments for neurodiverse employees. Could you please elaborate on your work and share its key insight with us?
Yeah, sure. So this is one of the research topic I would say very close to my heart. Um, uh, and I think it stands very relevant, especially in today's scenario. And it also, more than creating an awareness to readers, it also created a lot of insights for myself when I was undertaking this research. So that's why, I said it's very close to my heart. So when we talk about neurodiversity, I'm sure in this session, whoever is joined us, including the students, you all must have heard about or must have seen the movie Tare Zameen Par, right? So, that's the only knowledge or a little more we may have. And we have basically, when we say neurodiversity, these are people who are either diagnosed with autism or dyslexic or ADHD. So, categories of these. And good number of or good percentage of people have completely misunderstood about this, or they have categorized this as a mental illness, which is not the truth. Absolutely, it is not the truth. It is rather research studies have proven it's just that, they are wired differently, just that the way they think or the way they perceive or the way they interpret or the way they look at things are slightly different than the other category of people, which is neurotypical. So that is one enlightenment that I uh, understood from undertaking this research. And the second very interesting fact, what I understood when I did this research paper was that this neurodiverse people are, again, it's not just numbers, it's proven through research that they are almost 200% more productive than neurotypical, which means their contribution to the corporate world is really immense, which many of the organization across the globe has failed to understand due to multiple reasons. Even if they understand, even they have understood, they find or they do not know the way how these people have to be handled. They always have that fear, how do we handle, because they are obviously the way they think or the way they behave is little different from how the neurotypical are. So that was a very interesting point. And I also had an opportunity while conducting the study to interact with certain neurodiverse people. And there was this one person who's based in Bangalore who's running a training center exclusively for neurodiverse people. So basically, what that person does is they basically train these people to become employable, and they have tie-ups with organizations, and they help the organization also, the managers, the leaders, they also train those people on how to handle these people, because these are people who are very sensitive. For them, even small little things are enough to get distracted or to lose focus. So the person who's running this training center, he himself is an ADHD and autistic. That's the interesting part. So he was telling how, that when before running or starting this training center, he worked with multiple companies, and he was telling that, I have a very patchy career. The reason being, most of the organizations where I work, they don't understand me. They fail to understand, or they basically they don't empathize. not sympathy, rather they don't empathize. So he was telling even the brightness of the light sometimes troubles them, or a mere dripping of water in the next room can trouble them. So they are very sensitive to sound, color, and all of that. And then they focus gets disturbed, and then they cannot proceed working. So these are certain challenges these people have, which the organization do not know how to handle it, or the organization do not know how to manage. So because of that fear factor and not understanding the extent to which they can productive, they are not willing to hire, which I think the perspective has to be changed. A lot of awareness has to be created, because these are people who are very good in analytical skills, analytical related jobs. In jobs where a lot of detailing is required, they're very, very highly intellectual, and they are capable in such kind of jobs. So this study enlightened and made me understand, and I'm sure people who get to read this article will also understand the extent to which it is important, first of all, to know that how productive these people are and how to handle that. And then moving forward, I also discussed in my paper what are certain AI tools. Now everywhere it's AI, and there are a lot of AI tools that is available, which helps these kind of, or this category of employees. Like there are noise cancelling headphones, because I was telling they are very sensitive to noise, colors, and all that, right? So there are tools which can be provided to these kind of people. Then there are time management apps like Todoist, Trello. So there are multiple tools that is available, which will support these neurodiverse people also to be more productive. And this is kind of a support organization can do. So that is the research was all about. And I think more and more research has to come in this area. More and more awareness is to come, not just in the organization perspective. I think even in the education sector, a lot of importance has to be given, because we generally treat them very differently, which should not be the thing. They are very high in IQ, and so a lot of support has to be given. And when we say diversity and inclusion, is just not gender diversity or cultural diversity. Diversity and inclusion also including this neurodiverse category of people. So be it in organization, be it in education sector, across all sectors, I think these people have to be given a lot of importance, and need to empathize on these people. So that's about my topic.
Thank you, ma'am. We look forward to many more insightful research papers from you. Our next question to Anand sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. As you know, competitive examinations are becoming tougher day by day, and our students find it tough to juggle between the board exams and the competitive exams. My question is, why do colleges place emphasis on competitive examinations, and what are the key abilities or attributes are they looking for to assess in a candidate through these exams?
Right, ma'am. So I'd like to go back a bit before I end up answering this particular question or come to this particular point. I would like to go back a bit of a journey. So if you look at, earlier days, maybe 2 decades ago or so, somewhere in 90s, you'd have seen a lot of colleges having competitive exams, but they were colleges where the number of applicants was very, very high. And if you look at colleges which are well established as of today, but over a period of during the earlier days, these colleges used to struggle getting good applications, or number of applications were not high, and that's the reason why competitive exams for entrance of colleges was pretty low compared to competitive exams for job market. Uh, but over a period of time, as the number of applications started increasing, as the diversification of these applications started improving, right? So you do not merely see an engineer applying to only an MTech program or a PhD program. You'll also see an engineer applying to probably a government job, an engineer applying to an MBA field, right? So there are highly high diversification that's happening. To ensure that there is one, a uniformity in the application process or in the admission process, where I do not, or anyone who's taking an admission or a competitive examination, doesn't feel biased or unbiased based on the difficulty level of the paper, right? So that's one reason, one main reason why competitive exams or exams started to come in, which acted as the first round of scrutiny or first round of selection process. Now, then the concept came, okay, what is the college trying to figure out from these exams, right? Why the colleges are having these exams? Now, if you look at major competitive exams, there are four areas of testing that happens. Well, I'm not talking about specific colleges. Every specific college or every specific program will have a fifth area or a sixth parameter coming into picture. But in general, there are four parameters that comes into picture. Number one is the English section, right? Number two is the math section. Number three is the logical reasoning section, right? Number four sometimes is a data interpretation, or it can be a general knowledge section, right? Now, if you look at why these are kept, now, many students come to me while when I'm mentoring them or when I'm teaching them, they come to me saying that, sir, I am from a humanities background. So why am I being tested on maths? Especially if I'm going for an area like, let's assume I'm trying to create a career in design or I'm trying to create a career in law where math is hardly used. Then why am I being tested in math as an area? Right? So that's a basic question that keeps coming to picture. So what students in today's world have to understand is the colleges are actually doing this competitive exams so that they can make life of companies easy when they are doing the recruitment process. So a company doesn't have to come to a college and do the same round of recruitment, right? When the college has already run the first round of filtering and the college has now deployed competitiveness, intellectuals, similar patterns, right, in their batch. So when the students go out, the companies know that when I come to this college, I'll get students having almost a very, very similar caliber. Now it depends on what kind of skills that they have done over the period of time, what kind of interest they have gathered over a period of the course, and that's how it starts, looking into candidates from a discipline's perspective. But if you actually go in depth of these exams, then the students will realize that number one, there is this exam tests a student on their ability to have a time management sense. And thus, you will find either the number of questions to be as equal to the time allotted to you, or you will sometimes find number of questions to be more than the time allotted, or sometimes definitely it is less than the time allotted. But the time management basically means that is a student capable enough to scan or make the entire journey throughout the paper in the time allotted, or the student wants, their own good time to go through the paper. So that's the main reason why I may have, let's say, a 60 questions, 60 minutes paper, or a 120 questions, 120 minutes paper. So time management is one area that the company is trying to figure out, or the college is also trying to figure out. The next area that the figure out comes is the student good enough to make on-spot decisions? Now that's the decision-making skill. So if you look at a competitive exam, it doesn't contain same level of difficulty. The difficulty levels of these questions vary from easy, moderate to most difficult. So decision making is that am I able to decide on the spot that should I solve this question or should I just move on? Right? Is it worth moving on and then ensure that I end up solving questions which are coming later, or should I sit and solve this question just because I know the concept? So so it is a fight between, I mean, what I personally always speak to students is it's a fight between knowledge and ego, right? So ego is where you want to prove yourself that you can do it. Knowledge is when you know that, okay, I am unable to do it at this point of time. Let me just move on and come back to it if there is still time. So that's one, the decision making skill. The third area of is how good your problem solving skills are, right? So in a problem solving skill, when you look at math, when you look at reasoning kind of questions, the questions are very, very similar to what you have studied till you're probably 10th grade. But the way to approach these questions vary drastically compared to what you have done, right? Most of the time, we see at students who have learned to solve problems in a particular process or a procedure. But when it comes to competitive exams, there is no process and procedure to solve a problem. The idea is to get a quick solution, but a solution that's right, and not just a quick solution. So that's another part where the testing happens. Do you have a good problem solving skill? And finally, there is a skill which is more about how different can you think from others, or what kind of out of box thinking can you do, right? And that's the area where the analytical reasoning or the reasoning question comes into picture, while GK comes to just figure out that how ferocious a reader a student has been, right? How diversified a reader has it been? Because most of the students in today's world, if you see, they are academically driven. And either they are academically driven or they are social driven. They are hardly have any further information about neighborhood. They hardly have informations about outside world. People want to do courses in business, but they don't understand the economic, the financial, the business aspects, not only of their city but of the nation or of international seas or overseas, right? So these are the areas that the testing happens, and so that's one reason why competitive exams are created. Second reason, as I said, a college would like to see whether a student wants to get an admission because the college has a brand, or whether a student wants to get an admission because the student deserves it. So there are two aspects to it. So like when I applied for my MBA program, the colleges that the MBA colleges definitely try to see that is this person coming to my college, because I am a brand, or does he really deserve me, right? So that's the difference between the two of them, and you got to prove that as much as you need a brand, the brand needs you. So if you can prove these two things aspects parallelly, then it makes sense. And that's the main reason why these competitive exams come into nature nowadays, right? And yeah, so that's a selection process typically that happens.
We appreciate the lucidity with which you have responded to this question. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, man.
Dinu ma'am, since you have worked as an HR professional, you understand how crucial real world experiences are in shaping students' career. In your opinion, do colleges offer adequate exposure to real world industry experiences?
Thank you, Rosma ma'am. So let me get the question right. So you mean to ask the extent to which college is providing industrial experience? Is that what? Okay.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. I think nowadays almost all the colleges, wherever you undertake your courses, bachelor's, be it bachelor's program or be it master's program, almost all the colleges provides a lot of different kinds of opportunities where that is going beyond classroom teaching in terms of starting with internships. Most of the courses have these internship kind of an opportunity, which is a mandate that has been provided to that has been asked the students to undertake during their summer vacation, a 1 month duration. So that's one of the way in which the students get the industrial exposures. Another way the industrial exposures that is being given to the students is to undertake certain projects, corporate or industry related projects. That is another kind of industry exposures. And also, I think most of the colleges, it has it's part of the curriculum that they bring in a lot of industry talks, corporate talks. So they invite guest talks from people working from different fields from corporate, because apart from the academic understanding. This is also a way the students get an exposure of what is happening really in the industry, in the corporate world. So industry talks have been conducted, and there are also industrial visits that's happening. Again, that's part, it's a mandate for all the courses. At least for every year, they take the students to industrial visits. So, from if you look at from the college perspective, whatever the best possible, they are giving an exposure. They are doing these kind of activities so that students are not just restricted or oriented just only academically, but also preparing them, also making them aware what happens in the corporate world. And there are a lot of interesting, what do we say, activities that has been brought in when they conduct fest, like the best manager, then marketing pitch, things like that. So these are all ways in which, students are, these are all activities which also put the student into a real life situation and then answer or do that particular. So these are the kind of things colleges are doing. But as having said that, if you ask me, is this enough for a student to get prepared once they finish their graduations and masters? Is this experience is enough? Obviously, in the current ongoing scenario, it's not enough. And because of that, what I strongly suggest and what I also see, keeping aside what the college is providing, students also have a lot of options to undertake internships by them by themselves. It's nothing to do with college, and there are companies also who are very much willing to take these kind of freshers, because fresh minds are obviously will able to give it better inputs. That's the thought process. So yesterday also I was interacting with one of the faculty based in one of the university in Bangalore. Even she was referring that when she had an interaction with the industry, they were telling, they are even fine to take children who have finished their 10th, because the children are very smart, because they are exposed to a lot of technical skills, like AI and programming and robotics, whatnot, so they are also fine to take children as not as a full-time employee, but as part of an internship, because they are more productive and more effective. So the opportunities are immense for the students, and I would suggest the students should not just restrict to what only college or the educational institutions are providing. And there are a lot of platforms also that is available. Like, gone are the days where you have to go through the newspapers to look for opportunities, or you have to go by company visit and ask for opportunities. There are platforms, recognized platforms like Upgrad, not sorry, not Upgrad, Upwork. Okay, so like that, there are many other freelance.com. So there are a couple of card list. So there are a couple of online platforms that is available, recognized one. Obviously, you have to be a little careful about the scam part of it. But apart from that, these are also recognized freelance websites where students, along with their education, they can also undertake these kind of opportunities. So it's not anymore restricted to only college providing these kind of opportunities to the students. I think students are also smart enough, or if not, they have to be smart enough to look out for these kind of opportunities and get themselves exposed to these kind of opportunities and get the required skills.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights and for shedding light on this important aspect of student development. My next question is to you, Anand sir.
Yes, ma'am.
With so much of career options available, it is so natural for both students and parents to feel uncertain about making the right path. How should a student proceed if they have not yet decided on a career? And is there a checklist that they can follow to make an informed decision?
Ma'am, this is a very common thing that I have seen among students and among parents, right? That even when the student is in probably the 12th grade, they're not definitely sure where they want to go. And now they are waiting for the right time to probably make the decision or take the first step. But what as a parent and as a student that we have to understand is, I'm just taking the clue from the previous talk that I did. Today, every top college has a selection process. And one of the selection process of a top college is a aptitude exam. Well, this is for those colleges which are not driven by technical education. Like I'm not talking about the IIT JEs or the NITs or the engineering colleges or the medicine colleges, where you have, subject specific examination that happens. But I'm talking about the rest of the colleges or the rest of the courses that people want to do. Today, if you look at students, they opt for BBM, they opt for BCom, they opt for design, there is a fashion, there is law. The opportunities are immense. And most of these opportunities have very, very, or sometimes do have, similar skill sets required. Not all the skill sets, but couple of skill sets are very, very common to them. So when you look at, or when I look at students who are not sure about where they want to go, my advice to students are always that it does not matter. Because if you actually go to even the elders today, most of the elders would say that, okay, I have come this journey, but not based on my past, decision when I did in 10th that this is the journey I want to come to. That would have been definitely a lot of changes too, especially to all of us, right, during our journey. But what students have to understand is it really matters where you enter and where you exit from. So one of the simple things that I ask students is why people at IITs get paid high. So most of the students start talking about, skills, start talking about IIT as a brand. So what they miss out is an IITian doesn't get paid because he's an IITian. An IITian ends up getting paid because he made it to an IIT. So he proved his mettle in that particular competition by making it through. So it does not matter whether the student has decided where the career is going to lead them, but what they have to realize that is at one stage, once they have made that decision of where they want to go forward, they have to clear a competitive exam. So one of the things that a student has to end up doing is start preparing for a competitive exam. Now, it does not matter which competitive exam you're preparing for because all of them have a very, very similar syllabi, very, very similar approach, learning pattern. Everything is almost similar. Yes, slight changes do happen. Like if a student wants to get into design, they'll have to be more in good in creative. Student wants to get into law, they have to have some knowledge on legalities. So there are certain changes that happen, but apart from that, there is no major change that happens. So one, start preparing for a competitive exam, right? Keeping in mind that you have to prepare for English, you have to prepare for math, logical reasoning, general knowledge, and so on. Next, whenever there is a time on a daily basis, start writing down or aligning down your skills or your interests. In today's world, interest and skills play a very vital role on what you want to begin with because of the attention span. Today we do not get employees or people who are loyal. Gone are those days where loyalty mattered the most. I mean, if you look at our parents and their generation, we had parents, people working for 20, 25 years in a company. That was because of the loyalties, right? Today, royalty has taken the major step rather than a loyalty. So if you look at that sense, then you do not know where you are going to head towards. So list down your skills and list down your interests, and every day use that one of the skill to figure out what opportunities exist in the world which is slightly aligned with the skill, right? Like anything related to technology, keep that aligned because AI is also technology driven now. So tomorrow there may be technology change, but it will still remain under the front of technology. So any skill that you like to possess or proceed further, then look at what are the opportunities available in that skill. Because one of the most important aspect is, can I continuously do this job day in and day out if it is aligned with what I want to do? Because if that is not aligned, then the chance of you flipping jobs, jumping jobs, right, losing interest in working is very, very high. So to avoid that, you try to look at what skills you have and then start aligning. This is a process that will not come in a day. This is a process that will take. But as long as you are aligning them with your interest and with your skill, you will exactly know where you're proceeding, right? But by the time you are sure of where you want to go, you are not wondering how to go about it because you have in parallel prepared for your competitive exams, right? So all I would suggest is whenever student is not ready on what career to choose, don't worry, you're not alone in this world. There are a lot of other students, not only students, there are a lot of other elders also who are still not sure what they want to do. They're doing, thinking that they will come to a stage where they know exactly what they want to do. So, I mean, I may deviate, but just for the fact that working in different industries, I have almost worked in 7 different industries, doesn't make me realize that, I knew what I want to do. Probably I was trying to look at a challenge in different industry that I really went for. But the point was that in every industry that I went for, I carried my skill. And my skill was about communicating. My skill was about people engagement. I was good in sales and business handling. I had a good leadership skill. So I carried the skill around, right? It doesn't matter which industry I went to. So that's absolutely fine. At any stage of time, there will be individuals who are not sure about what next, right? So that's absolutely fine. But the point is, as for a student, the most important aspect is by the time you come to 12, you should know what all exams are you going to write. You should know the reason why you're going to write, and you should be prepared for these exams. Now, when you look at, you know, how they should prepare, because we realize that students are at one stage going to reach the 12th grade, which itself is a challenging aspect, right? And the biggest problem that we have, or I have seen with students, is it's not a student problem at all, right? What I have seen is students have known to utilize 24 hours when they were in ninth grade. They know to utilize 24 hours when they are in the 10th grade, but they do not know to use, they do not know how to utilize them effectively, right? That 24 hours still exists with them, but that effectiveness or the optimization is lacking. So if the student can learn or start preparing right from the beginning, that is in the 11th grade, then this problem is solved, right? In 12th, they do not have to concentrate or run behind only the 12th grade exams or, the grades or their assignments. They can manage the 24 hours between the 12, between their personal time and between their competitive exams. So I think the checklist that student requires, number one, is about skills and interests that they want to, pursue as a career. And rather than the trend. So one advice that I have for all the students, I may differ from many people out there, but one of the advice that I have for students is do not align your career path with trends. Trends will change. And when trends change, if you do not know to change, you will get stagnated, you will get stuck. So do not align your career options or opportunities with trends. Align it with your skills, align it with your interests, and it will automatically make its own shape and make its own path. That's number one. Number two, spend around 15-20 minutes on a daily basis and prepare for your competitive exams. Yeah, that's all it would be, Rospa.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing such a clear and structured guidance. I'm sure this will help many students navigate their career decisions with more confidence.
Our next question to Jinu ma'am. Jinu ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Yeah. Speaking about employability and skill development, what industry specific skills are in demand among companies today?
Okay. Um, so industry specific skills, when we say, you can categorize them as majorly two type of skills. One is the technical skills that is required, obviously, that is relevant for the job. Another one is the soft skills. Rather, we call that as a employable skills. What we see largely, based on statistics, again, if I have to tell, that around 45% or 45.9% which is less than 50, are only employable. What does that mean? So they have the right qualification, they finish the relevant bachelor's or master's program from the best universities. But even then, only 45.9% of the youth is employable. So what does that mean basically is these youth or these youngsters have the relevant technical skills, but they largely lack in the employable skills, which means the different types of soft skills, communication skills, or critical thinking skills, or how to work in an uncertain environment. Because we all understand for the fact that almost all the industries are very uncertain. One thing that is permanent is change, right? And when the industries are exposed to such dynamic work environment, as employees we also have to be prepared to adapt to those changes, and then you know that getting used to that particular new situation. So that adaptability is another kind of a skill, which I think to a larger extent that is lacking in today's younger generation. uh, Obviously technical, it doesn't mean that technical skills are not important. They have to get acquainted, and they have to undergo and go through the required technical skills. But keeping that aside, what are the education sector as well as the students themselves are doing to improve on their these kind of employable skills is a big question. So I think students who are joined and those who would be listening, no, it's very important for them to understand, along with what you work towards your technical skills through the formal education, please work towards your employable or otherwise soft skills also. How do you, from the basic skill, like how do you communicate? When we say communicate, it's not the communication with good accent, okay, or talking very fluently, but how to be very empathetic in your communication. How do you have a very assertive behavior, or what kind of a personality you carry? How do you work in very stressful situations? How do you control your emotions? How do you develop your empathetic skills? These are something that is very much lacking. And it says, almost 65% of the population, which is youth, if you take it India, it's a good percentage. 65% of the population is falling under 35. And when that youth is what driving our country, but these employable skills are something that is missing very much, which I think they have to work towards. And apart from that, whichever career the students want to pursue, there are a lot of avenues to get into the related technical skills also, which is, I think, through education, through all online courses, through the formal education they will get. But they also have to equally work towards these kind of soft skills, which is very, very important. So it's a combination of technical and employable skills are what, for the question that you asked, what are industry specific skills that is required?
That was wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much for those valuable insights. And I'm sure this will help our students to understand the skills they need to build.
Thank you.
Ma'am, our students are very keen and excited to play a rapid fire round with you.
Okay.
So we have quick questions and quick answers. Over to you, Nishta.
I'm Nishta from grade 11, and I'll be taking Jinu ma'am through a fun little rapid fire round. I hope you're ready, ma'am.
Sure.
What is one word you'd use to describe yourself?
Systematic.
That says a lot. Okay. Bangalore or Kerala? Why?
Uh, Kerala. The reason because the cost of living is one primary factor in all terms. And obviously, that's my native, God's own country. So, and want to be away from the hustle bustle.
That's a great choice. Next, if you had to have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Come again?
If you had to have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
My children, one person. Okay,
One
my
person.
husband. My husband.
That's an interesting pick. What is your go-to stress buster?
Shopping.
That's a great way to reset your mind. Lastly, a subject you enjoyed most in school.
In school,
Yes,
math.
that says a lot. Clearly, something clicked with you. That wraps up our rapid fire. Thank you so much for playing, Jinu ma'am. We loved your
Thank,
answers.
thank you so much. Thank you. It was very interesting questions. Thank you.
To continue with our session, our next question goes to Anand sir. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. What are the common mistakes students make during the preparation of competitive exams? What can be the strategies to avoid them?
All right, ma'am. So, there are a lot of mistakes that people do when they are preparing for competitive exams. So I will just list down, or I'll just try to remember the ones that are very common universally. Number one is understanding that a competitive exam is just another exam, which means that there are different styles of students in this universe, right? So there are students who are systematically preparing for their exams. They are studying every day. They are trying to revise portions every day so that when the exam comes into picture, they're ready with their subject. Then there are some students who start preparing when they realize that the exam is coming up, right? And that's where they start doing a day and night preparation. They do multiple revisions. So these are the students who are preparing at the fag end of the exam. And so you have different styles. So, but when it comes to competitive exam, what a student has to realize that this is not an exam that you do very, very similar to, the college or the school level exams. These are exams which has a different approach, different style of solving. You need not solve everything. The marking systems are different. There are negative markings if you go wrong. So these are the places that people have to understand. So number one is, doesn't matter what career you want to choose. As I pick it from the last talk, does not matter what career you want to choose. Start your competitive exam preparation at the earliest. And the earliest would have been yesterday, but the next early day is today. So whenever it is, just start your preparation. Number two is know the purpose of your preparation. You're not preparing an exam to crack that exam, because that is just one mean of selection. You're preparing an exam to go to the admission, or you go into a college. So know the purpose of your preparation, which college you're preparing for. So if someone is preparing for, let's say, a law entrance exam, what is the purpose of writing this CLAT exam, which is known as law entrance exam? To get into a college. So decide which college and now backtrack your entire preparation plan. Okay, if I want to make it to a national law school, Bangalore, then I need to get this much scoring out in that competitive exam. So backtrack your preparation. If I'm preparing for, let's say, an exam like an IP MAT, which is for the IIMs after 12th, then if I have to get into an IIM, then what are the required, marks in these competitive exams? So start early and know your purpose. Know the area of improvement, what we talk about, the AOI, right? We have all heard of ROIs, but this time it's going to be AOI, the area of improvement. You have to identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to overcome your weakness. So that's one area that you'll have to look into. Imagine a triangle or a pyramid which is inverted. The inverted pyramid is the way we study when it is a syllabus driven exam. So, the top portion is a flat, which is I cover my syllabus. And then I start taking tests and go to the pointed edge, which is my main exam. This is very good when you have a knowledge or when you know that this is the syllabus for an exam. But when you look at a competitive exam, it is a pyramid structure or a triangular structure. The first point, that is the top peak of this particular triangle, is the place where you have to write an exam. So first, for preparing anything in a competitive exams is go and write an exam. You will know where you lack, you know where you're good at, and then you start your preparation. So it's always take a test, prepare, take a test, prepare. If you don't do this, then you are not doing the right way of your preparation. So these are the areas that people have to take care of and strategize their plans accordingly.
Thank you, sir. Your guidance will truly help students to prepare more effectively.
Thank you, ma'am.
One final question is left. Yes, to Anand, sir. I would like to touch upon a question that often creates confusion among students. What matters more, the college you study in, the course that you choose, or it is equally important to consider both?
Um, Ma'am, a very, very challenging question to answer. Sometimes it can, go diplomatically wrong. Sometimes it can go diplomatically right. But when you look at, so a journey of a student has to be understood that for me as an individual, this is my perspective and my opinion, not related to anyone else. But for me as an individual, when I look at people, I don't look at what is your entry point. I look at what is supposed to be your exit point. So, for example, if I take my example out here, I'm an engineer followed by an MBA. My entry point is engineering, but my exit point is an MBA. So, what matters to me most? Is my entry point important for me, or is my exit point important for me? So, for me, the exit point is important because when I exit as an MBA, the corporate world, the universe will look at me as an MBA graduate passed out from XYZ college compared to looking at me as an engineer plus an MBA. So the entry and the exit matters here most. Now, if you have a proper exit plan, then the college matters very important. The college is very, very important. Definitely the course becomes important because you know that that's an exit plan. You want to do an MBA. So that's an exit plan. The course becomes important, but the college also equally adds value to it. But if you are so in such a situation, the entry point college is not important, nor the course is important, right? You end up taking a college, you end up taking a course which is adding value to you. You're not taking a random program or a random college. You're taking a college and a course which is going to add value to your exit point. So that will create the entire system or the journey. But if you're not clear about where I'm going to exit, there are a lot of students who are not clear about where I'm going to exit, then both the college and the course matters. So there is no way you can give importance to one criteria here. That is, I will give importance to college. So those are the days when people in students who are racing against engineering used to take metallurgy in IIT just because it's an IIT, right? And they had a part where after metallurgy in IIT they had a choice of moving to, let's say, an IT company or so on and so forth, just because they had a brand name like an IIT. Brands are important, but along with brands, it's very important for us to look at what kind of courses are we choosing, why are we choosing, are these courses aligned with our interests and skills, are these courses something that I'm picking to pursue as a career, right? Which part of the program I'm going to pursue it as a career, or which part of the program is going to add value to me when I pursue my career. So all these components are pretty important when we discuss. So it's very important that you choose the right course at the right college. Between a course and a college, I would always give a very high grade to a college because the competition to enter a college is much, much bigger than the competition of getting a course.
Yeah, so I understand both are equally important. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the valuable input. That brings us to the end of this segment. Over to you, Avni, for the rapid fire round.
Good morning, sir. I'm Avni from 11th grade. And sir, I hope you're ready for answering some fun rapid fire questions.
Good morning, Avani. Yes, please throw.
Okay, so firstly, if money hadn't been a factor, what would you have become?
Musician.
Wow, that was a very good answer. Thank you for sharing that with us. For the second question, what superpower would you like to have?
where I can create a wealth so much that I do not have to distribute wealth, but I can generate through wealth knowledge to every human being in this world.
Wow, that was a very illuminating insight. Thank you, sir. For the third question, if you had to describe your job using a movie title, what would it be?
Avani, this rapid question will take a lot of time because I'm not a movie buff. I see movie once every probably 3 or 4 years. So it's very difficult for me to even recollect what name should I pick for. But I'll have to pass this, Avani. I can't recollect even a single name of a movie.
That's all right, sir. Then on to the fourth question. Any place you would like to visit again and why?
All right. So I had my so for this, it's not going to be rapid too because I would like to visit a place called as Nalia, which is a place that is unknown to most of the people in India. Nalia is a place in Gujarat, and it is the last, the border of Gujarat, which has the final Indian Air Force station. And the reason why I want to go there is because I grew up there. Being from Indian Air Force background family, I grew up in a place which was getting constructed, which was getting built on the airbase was getting built, and I still have that memory. So I'd really love to go back to that place.
Wow, that was a great choice. It sounds like that place really left an impression on you.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now for the final question. What is your favorite cuisine?
My favorite cuisine is in today's world, it has been everything that is left over by my kids, but otherwise, it has always been something like a South Indian food.
That is a very amazing choice. It definitely tells us about your good taste. And that wraps up the rapid fire questions. Thank you so much, sir, for answering.
Thanks, Avani. Thanks for your time.
As we come to the end of the show, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our guest, Mr. Anand Acharya and Ms. Jinu George, for being part of our talk show, Power Hour, centered around the theme Pathways and Possibilities. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and practical tips. Your contribution to empowering us with essential life skills is truly appreciated. We would also like to thank our management, our principal, Dr. Manila Carvalho, Vice Principal, Ms. Preeti Suta, for providing us with a platform to conduct this enriching session. We would also like to thank Ms. Mamta Bala, Head of the Department of Commerce. Your unfaltering leadership has continually inspired us. We would also like to thank Ms. Sonali Roy, Head of the Department of English, and Ms. Yuni Dikshit from the English Department for their enduring motivation and guidance. Our gratitude also goes to Ms. Vikranti Ma'am, Head of the Department of Computer Science, Ms. Juliet and Ms. Shanti from the Computer Science Department for their technical support, and a big thank you to our dear parents, students, and teachers for being a wonderful audience. Thank you all once again. Have a great day. It's me, Rosma, and Momita ma'am signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.